I'm Shelley Williams from the Arts and Humanities Council of Montgomery County, the longest name in the world. We send out a few press releases because we're the plastic doohickey that holds things together, so we don't do a lot of programs ourselves. We support programs such as Class Act, but occasionally we do have to send out a media advisory. So my question is, am I doing this right? I've listened carefully, I've got a good subject line, I do the who, what, where, when, and then I embed different links. Do you want to know more about it? See our electronic press kit, you can go to there. See the photos, if we have a video. Because all the links are embedded in the email. Is that what you want?
Yeah, I mean, that works great as long as it's not an attachment.
What happens if there's so like the photo attachment that I sent out yesterday to poor Ellen Wexler. She knows me though, so I think she'll have
Well, that's different. If you're expecting it, it's totally fine. Like I do our back page, so I expect to get photo attachments all the time. Granted, some people are sending 20 megabytes at work at a time, and that kind of blows up the mailbox. But aside from that, like that's okay. But more in the like, for more information, you know, we're doing this event. Here's the press release, and it's attached as a PDF, and it's like, just paste it in the email. So much easier.
Okay, good. Great.
I'll just share a pet peeve, just because I need to get off my chest. But if you send me anything more than like 2 megabytes, I already hate your story because I have to delete at least 100 emails. My mailbox closes every day, only because of my, I'm going through Fox's account. So if I've gotten if I get a 2 megabyte email, I have to start going and deleting old stories just to be able to get any more mail. So if you can put it in the body of the email, and links are great. I agree with what she was saying, because then I can go wherever I want to get it.
Okay, good. All right, thank you.
Thank you for listening to mine.
Hi, I'm Leslie from Cultural Police. We're a nonprofit organization that promotes arts and culture. I wanted to get maybe you guys from the panel what your rules for PR are. What usually that you decide to, go do your PR. I mean, you talked a little bit about it with Twitter and social media, but your personal new things that you think are the rules of your PR. What you move forward with.
You asked earlier, how did social media, I'm not sure that, again, I'm a big term person. I'm not sure that I like that term. I like the term conversational media, and I'll explain why. You asked, how did it change my life? As a writer, reporter, writer, whatever, you push out stories all the time. And as you push out stories all the time. And you never knew when somebody was reading them unless they came back to you and said, hey, I saw your story in DC Magazine, I thought it was really good. But online, or in any kind of social media context, they can connect right back with you. So I think the new rule is that it's a conversation, and if you're not putting forward something that can create a conversation, then that's a little bit, then it's not really a good pitch. So I like anything that's going to have people write back to me and submit feedback or ask more questions.
That makes sense. I have to get to another thing, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
And on the conversation point, it's the same thing when you're reading the New York Times. You're probably reading it online, and there's a section right there where you're offering your comments. There's no more just reading a black and white article and maybe telling somebody about it at work. You're actually communicating with the reporter and offering your comments right back to the reporter and sharing news after.
And we love comments. Comments are content, actually. So anytime you think, oh, should I comment on that? Yes.
I would say no technology. On the front end, it's one thing to know how to use Twitter and to know how to post things, but I'm really talking about know how to create a YouTube video, know a little bit of HTML. You can go to w3schools.com. You can learn a lot for free about HTML and how to make sure you can put in links when you write a link, actually write the code for a link. I would say get a foundational knowledge in technologies, how it's being used, WordPress, Joomla. There's so much free information out there that from a PR professional standpoint, where typically you become a one-stop shop, just like a lot of reporters are carrying around their own cameras and doing their own video editing, you should really be prepared over the next 5 years to have those skill sets. Because if you don't, you'll lose out to the competition.
And just to piggyback on what Mike said, definitely technology, because reporters, a lot of newsrooms are downsizing, a lot of reporters are doing multiple things and don't have a lot of time. So That's where social media has kind of made it a little bit easier to cultivate relationships with reporters, start following them, get to know what their interests are, what they like, and engage them, and develop a relationship with them, so that when we do have a story, they're more likely to listen to it or hear about it. Invite them to lunch, invite them for coffee, do a quick little desk side with them. So I think that's where social media has been great, because you can start following them a lot easier, a lot quicker than trying to get them on the phone, or maybe at an event where they're on deadline.
And not just following and talking to those reporters, but those key influencers online.
Absolutely.
So maybe it's Craig Newmark from Craigslist, who's online and has a huge following, and he's talking about something that matters to you. Get him to retweet it for you, and whatever it is, like building relationships with those influencers in your world.
And I think also just authenticity, and just making sure that you follow through on things, and not hiding behind your social media site, because I think when you used to have to get on the phone or do face-to-face meetings, you had to be a lot more authentic. And now we have the ability to connect with a lot more people, which is great, but at the same time you have to keep that authenticity alive.
David.
I'm David Humphreys from CHF International. We're a big NGO working around the world. I'm actually a client of C.Fox, and Julie does our Twitter feed for us and does very well. But I'm more than a decade older than Julie, and I hate Twitter. I find I'd rather put needles in my eyes. In fact, Julie and I kind of did a live Twitter conversation this week, and she watched me get steadily angrier at all this shallow garbage being pumped out by these organizations. Now, I'm just not a consumer of Twitter. I'm the wrong side of 30, maybe. So that's my question. Audience. We've not really talked much about the audience for the new rules of PR. I still read newspapers, albeit online. I still read books. Heaven help me. Do you find that the new rules of PR apply particularly to the younger age group, or we were talking about local situations, or do you have different views of it? Have you studied the analytics in your website?
The Twitter audience, looking at your Twitter audience would be different than looking at your audience for anything else. Even your Twitter audience and your Facebook audience are very different. People on Facebook tend to be interested in positive stories about the community. People on Twitter tend to be interested in tech stories. People on Facebook you talk about other people. People on Twitter like you talk about yourself. Actually, people on Facebook like yourself. People on Twitter like other people. People on Twitter like links. People on Facebook don't like links. There's all of these kind of, you have to know your audience, I guess. And maybe you or your audience are not the Twitter audience. And that's okay. You should still be on it, like I said, squatting. But maybe that's not your audience.
I was talking with, like I said, to some of my coworkers because I wanted to kind of get their ideas. And I think right now the safe pitch is still email, just because my bosses were saying, he doesn't have time to look for stories on Twitter. I don't think he has his own Twitter account. We at Fox 5 use Twitter to more reach out to our viewers, but we rarely are scouring Twitter for news stories. We're looking at publications and local identities and everything like that. So I think I think email, even for me, is the best way for me to get information. You can use new ideas like links and YouTube videos and stuff, but to reach out to the majority of people, and everyone's going to read it, everyone's going to understand it, no one's going to be confused by the technology. I think email is still probably the best route